Hey everybody, welcome to Digital Asset News. Today we're just doing a live stream right after that exciting World Cup. Congratulations, Argentina. I got to tell you, when I was taking a look at that game, I couldn't imagine the amount of stress someone would feel kicking that game-winning goal. So hats off to those guys. But today what I want to talk to you about, now that we're all done with the World Cup, congratulations on all that stuff, let's get back to what we do best, which is talking about crypto, digital assets, and more specifically, how things are going to work out as far as an ROI for 2023, 2024, and 2025. So what I want to quickly talk about is the monthly ROI from 2010 to present. We're going to break it down using the 4-year cycles. Also, the question comes in, which is a valid question, is what if I just wait to DCA? What if I just wait for a little bit of time until it's more safe? And I got to tell you, it's not a bad idea. Take a look at the data. Also, take a look at micro DCA vid. And then lastly, we'll do Q&A for here for about 10 minutes. And then what I want to try to do a little something different, is I want to jump over to Twitter Spaces and have people talk directly to me and ask me questions. So we'll still do a little Q&A here, but I'm going to go right to Twitter Spaces, see if I can do it correctly. So first things first, let's talk about the monthly ROI. And if we take a look at it, nice little image here from Ben's website in the CRYPTOVERSE. Again, steal as much as I possibly can within reasonable amounts. And we can find this a lot of places. And really what it comes down to is this is all broken down into years. And for us to understand what the message is here, just a quick review. We talked about this in depth yesterday as far as the 4-year cycles. And the first cycle always starts in 2012 with a Bitcoin halving. Then we had an all-time high, a dip, and a reset. 2016, another halving. Happens every 4 years. This is cycle 2. Halving, all-time high, dip, reset. Then 2020, another halving. All-time high, dip, and a reset. And now we're 2022. I'm just going to say that the bottom was 15,742 for Bitcoin. Might go a little lower. I don't know. We've got, what, week and a half or something like that. So who knows? It's crypto. Could go to $10. I have no idea. And then, of course, cycle 4 is yet to be determined. So what we're taking a look at today is just how things are broken down as far as the returns based upon months. And what I try to do is, I mean, we're looking at these things, a little red, a little green, nothing too fantastic here. What I want to take a look at specifically is just how this all breaks down by the years for the 4-year cycle. So the year after the all-time high, which again, if we go back, the all-time highs were years of 2013, 2017, 2021. If we take a look a year after the all-time high, the red months, the months that were negative, were quite a bit. And I think we can all remember that. I mean, we're living it right now. And so far in 2022, we've got 8 months out of the year that are just negative. Those are what I call the dip years. 2018 was even worse. So if you think that like this is a bad cycle, it's not really. What really makes it worse is the problems that the centralized exchanges did to us, the rug pulls that happened on DeFi, just the outright scams and lies and everything else, but mostly from centralized players, let's be honest. But in 2018, we still had 9 months that were in the red, and some of them were deep red. I'll remind you, 2018 November, we saw a negative 37%. And for us so far, even with as bad as FTX, BlockFi, Voyager, Celsius has been, we didn't do too bad in June. Negative 38% as compared to 2018, 37% in November. So, I mean, just take stock of that about what's happening. 2014, there was also 8 months of red. Now, let's move forward. Let's take a look at the all-time high. The all-time high years, which again were 2013, 17, and 2021. You would expect, and you would be correct, that there's a lot more green months. However, what was interesting to me was that in 2013, there was 8 months of green, massively positive. 2013, you had rates of 57% in January, 176% in March. Look at this one, 453% in November of 2013. Those are monstrous. And I mean, just massive, monstrous months, right? 2017, not too bad. There was a lot more. Percentages weren't as high, but they had 10 solid green months. And for us, we're actually teetering. We were teetering on 6 and 6. We had 6 green months, which were pretty good. And then, of course, we had 6 of red. And that was just the all-time high years. Now let's take it back for the halving years. And the reason why we're talking about this is we're trying to see what historically could be positive time frames moving forward. Now, just because this has happened in the past doesn't mean it's going to happen again, but we can't know where we're going until we know where we've been. So for the halving years, again, Bitcoin had a halving in 2012, 16, and 20. It was pretty good. I mean, look at this. You had 8 months of green in 2020, 2016 you had 8, and 2012 you had 10. So if you start to think about it, you're like, well, when should I dollar cost average? Maybe some of these months are pretty good for doing those things, maybe taking profits. We'll get to that. But then here's the rub. And this is where it all comes down to. The reset years, which is 2 years after the all-time high. So remember, so if we had a halving in 2012, that means that 2013 would be the all-time high. 2014 would be the dip, and 2015 will be the reset. 2015 had only 5 months in the red, which is not too bad. So that would be equivalent to 2019, where we had 6 months in the red, which then will be the equivalent of 2023, because 2023 is right around the corner, a week and a half, roughly or so, right? So I know people are taking a look at 2023 and being quite awful. I am one of those people because I think there is a recession abroad. And people will say, but Rob, you don't understand because Bitcoin has never been through a recession. It has never been through a term of quantitative tightening. First of all, quantitative easing and money printing, we've done that forever. But quantitative tightening, this is new to us too. So it's not like that's something outside of crazy world. However, that is true. We've never been through a recession. We have never been through a time frame of economic expansion. However, I will remind everybody, we never went through a global pandemic either. And that happened in March 2020. Yes, we dipped. Yes, it was a bit awful for a little bit of time, but we got through it. I think we're going to get through this one as well. Just depends on how long it could take. So again, the reset years, 2023, we're coming into it. But statistically or historically, 2019 and 15, been not too bad, quite honestly. However, there are some things on the horizon. Of course, we talk about here the macro events, the recession, the Fed pivots, the war in Ukraine, the inability for China to pivot off of their zero COVID tolerance policy. Got it. However, if we take a look here about what's going on in the world of whales, this is whale number 3. There's a link in the description. And this is from BitInfo Charts. And you can just see that whale number 3 has had quite a nice career. And this is the 3rd largest Bitcoin wallet. And you can see that there's a lot of buys. A lot of buys. 17,000 Bitcoin on July 20th. 25,000 Bitcoin, again, July 20th. That's a lot. A couple of sell-offs here and there, but mostly green, you'll see. And 1,000 down here, 1,000 here. Just taking some profits. But I want you to notice something right now. November 15th, 2,000 sold. November 18th, 1,000 sold. November 30th, 1,000. December 7th, 500, another 1,000, another 1,000. I don't see many buys since mid-November. So if we're taking a look at what whales are doing, you can probably expect some more sell-offs going into it. So that would lead me to my next point. What if I just wait to DCA? And you could. And when I take a look at this data, like, on this channel, I've been talking quite a bit about dollar cost averaging, but taking a look at these historical data points, there is something to be said for just waiting to DCA. This is what I'm talking about. So let's just say, this is from dca-cc.com. Let's just say, for example, you're like, you know what, Rob? I just want to wait until the halving years, because the halving years, there's some pretty good time frames, or there's some pretty good green months there that are a little bit safer for me to take profits. And you're right. I mean, 2020, 8, 2016, 8, and 10. So if you dollar cost average, and I just blanket statement here, $100 per week. I just picked 100 because it's round numbers. So $100 per week. There's roughly, correct me if I'm wrong here, 52 weeks in a year. So that's about $5,000 a year, right? $5,200. Sure. So you're putting $5,000 per year You're buying $100 of Bitcoin every week. If you start on January 1st, 2020, and then you would keep doing it till today, just looking down over here, I will say you're not doing too bad. If you would have sold at the peak, which, hey, good luck. But you would have put in almost $10,000 and you would have gotten back 42,000. That's roughly, let me do some quick math, about a 4x, which is pretty good. I mean, all you had to do is just wait 2 years and you quadrupled your money just in Bitcoin. All you had to do is just go through all this pain right here, which is the boring part with what everybody's going right now. However, what if you just said, you know what? I'm a little risk taker. I'm gonna start on 2019, which again would be those 2 years after the all-time high. Again, a little bit choppier. You got 6 months and 5 months, maybe 20 there might be the same, might be worse, not for sure. But if you would have done that, if you would have said, okay, historically, I'm gonna gamble. In 2019, I'm gonna start. You would have had, you would have put in $15,000 and had $100,000, just $100 a week. If you could afford it, you had $100,000. And that's roughly 6.5, 7x. Roughly 6.5, 7x, which isn't too bad. I mean, if you think about it, I put in 15,000, I got a 7x. Pretty good. What if you're like, you know what? I don't really care. I'm going to do it when I think is the best time, which is January 8th, 2018, when everything just collapsed and you were underwater forever and you were essentially throwing sand into the ocean. So on those months, remember, 2020, oops. You're looking at more deeper red, 8 months, 9 months, 8 months. If you would have done that, you would have thought that maybe I would have had a higher return. Well, not really. If you would have done that in 2018, you would have put in $20,000 and you would have got $145,000 back. You know what that is? Roughly the same thing. It's roughly a 7.5x, 7.25, I guess. So going from here and just being bored and waiting, as opposed to going to here and being bored already, it's roughly about the same thing. It's just a time frame of where you want to do things. Now, here's the next question. Well, Rob, that's adorable. That's cute. But you know what? I just don't want to take any risks. I'm just going to wait till, the bull market comes back, because it's going to come back. I always talk about it, bear and bull, and you're right. So if you just waited until 2021, would have been so great. And I've talked about this many a time. A lot of other people talk about this too. The money is not made in a bull market. All your money is made right now in bear markets when everybody is scared out of their minds. They don't want to put any money into it. It's super boring. They don't like it. Got you. So let's just say you did this. You put $100 in weekly on January 1st, 2021, because that was the bull run. It's sweet. Everything's going up. It's great. Well, it's true. You would have gone up. Here's your investment. $100 a week. You would have put in $4,600 and got back $6,078 if you would have sold at the top. Let that sink in. You would have put in $4,600 to get $6,758 and ride all this roller coaster all the way. Me personally, that's not my spiel. It's not my game. So that's what we have. And that's just historically what it looks like. So for me personally, I just talk about this, and this is what I continue to do. I don't know exactly where things are going. There's a lot of smarter people out there than me, trust me. And they'll tell you up and down that this was the bottom, or this is the top, or this is what you have to do, and this is, I don't know where it is. I mean, tomorrow we could have, I don't know, White House could come out and go, you know what? We've looked into crypto and we're going to embrace it. And, we've already got a bill on the table. We're going to approve it. And looks like we're going to regulate the centralized exchanges. And then everything is going to be a commodity. How much do you think that Bitcoin will go up at that point? I don't know. So if we take a look at this, me personally, this is what I do. I did a video. It's called micro DCAing. I don't know where things are going. However, I still DCA a little bit and I go forward. As we start to go down, which I think we will in 2023, Then I will start to dynamically DCA, which is increase the amount that I actually put in. So when we get to 2025, maybe even 2026, 7, I don't know. That's when we start to take some big profits. We're still going to take profits on the way, not big profits. And that's where we stand. So that's it. I just wanted to just bring that to everybody's attention and go from there. And that will conclude everything for today for, well, crypto. So if you like today's video, give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing. We do these things every day, mostly like news, but on Sunday, I like to get into the charts and just talk about the history about where we're potentially going. But that's it. Now what I want to do is roll into the Q&A. We're just going to do 10 minutes here. And while we're doing it, I'm going to create a Twitter Spaces. I'm going to take your questions. You can talk right to me, and we'll just do it over there. I don't know if I know a lot of people do Twitter Spaces, but I don't know if they've done it like this, where we do this here in YouTube, and we take everything over to Twitter Spaces, and you can ask the questions directly to me. You can tell me whatever you want to. You can say, Rob, here's a question. Why did you always talk about Voyager and how great it was and it collapsed? Answer me that, and I will. Or you can say, Rob, what are you DCing right now specifically and why? Whatever. So we'll do all that. But right now, let's do a little Q&A so people don't feel like they got shortchanged because some people don't have Twitter. So let's just do a little Q&A. All right. Bot. Rusty bot. I wonder how I react when the market turns. I almost went crazy 5 days ago when we had a 1 green day. I don't know if I can handle it. This is why I'm always complaining to people about taking profits, just little profits, because it's like muscle memory. When you grease the wheels, it's a little bit easier to do these things. It's like taking baby steps. So when you have to sell when the time comes, then you're like, okay, I've done this before. With a little bit, I can up my game and do it, as opposed to never selling anything and going, you know what? Today's the day, 100% I sell. Very tough to do. I'm thinking 90% of you can't do it, or maybe even higher. And I know that because it was hard for me to do it. Bill Bones is here. Meme is here. Dez is here. Let's see. Tesla. No, everybody's here. What's going on? Vicky's here. I've been DCing Bitcoin weekly all year and increased my DCA videos on Luna. It's not a bad plan, actually. That would be dynamic DCA. Pretty good. I like that. When tax halving? Yeah, it's not going to happen. The government needs those taxes. Look, they gave us a bunch of money in the stimmy checks. They need that money back. That's why they're going to try to pass some more tax incentives, and it'll be awful. But that's just how it is. Let's see. 18. So at minute 25, we'll shoot on over to Twitter Spaces. Where else are we? CZ thinks 99% can't do it. CZ thinks 99% can't self-custody. That's what he thinks, which is a pretty good way to say, keep all your crypto on my exchange. Whoa, Brian, do you feel Steve Ehrlich should be prosecuted? Also, why has he been hiding? Lastly, do you think Voyager token will be worth something again? I'll start with the first one. You think Voyager token will be worth something again? Maybe, but extremely doubtful. Whoever's going to buy Voyager, I mean, you might get somebody like Binance. If Binance buys Voyager, they just want the customers. They don't want the app. That goes away. There's another one, INX. If they buy it, they want to keep the app going. And then, of course, the VGX token will stay. And that's even if. So highly probability VGX is now worthless. I don't know why people are trading it, but it is what it is. I don't really care about that. Traders trade. And I'll answer the first one. Steve Ehrlich should be prosecuted. No, I don't think Steve Ehrlich specifically should be prosecuted. I don't think that he did something malicious, such as, I mean, it was malicious and it was a pretty dumb idea to loan out $640 million uncollateralized to Three Arrows Capital. Okay, you got me on that one. However, this wasn't something where you're transferring funds, commingling, buying property for your friends and family that were funds from actual customers and going, oh, I didn't know I couldn't do that. So there's a big difference between what, say, a Steve has done and even what an Alex Mashinsky has done to what a Sam Bankman-Fried has done. And that's for the lawyers to figure out. Let's see. Just got caught up in the money in green. Well, haven't we all? Rhonda Paul says, is there any advantage of DCing every day versus weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly? It's be a good show to see which one works out best. There is a problem with DCing every day, and that is that you have to pay those fees every single day. So if you're on Coinbase like I am, if you buy every single day, you incur a charge every single day that you do that. However, there's, I think it's called Coinbase One. I think it's $29.99 a month or $39 a month, and it waives all the fees up to $10,000. So that allows me to DCA Bitcoin every day and also to DCA some layer one solutions every week. And that's it. So weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly, I'm not for sure. I think it would be interesting to see, but again, when you do it like weekly or even monthly, it just depends on the time frame, right? I mean, numbers go up, right? But not all the time. Numbers will go up, but it all depends on how much. So like, what was the high this month? 20,000 something? And of course, the low was, well, in November, it was 15.7. So if you would have hit 15.7 and that was your buy day, great. Chances are you didn't hit that. So let's see. Let's roll. Okay. Sounds like a plan. Morning, Rob. I DCA weekly. Yeah. The bear market always feels long. It doesn't matter. And this is what causes people to capitulate. It's not the price action, it's the boredom. So Jane Chow says the Fed find the inflation that the Fed created. Well, that's true. I mean, once you print a bunch of money, that's what happens. All the pain coming in the next depression. Never forget to let them misdirect. Inflation was purposely orchestrated. Orchestrated very well. Joey, that's a little dark. I can't say that. I always buy in bite-sized pieces. How much would SPF pay for Beardy's rope and a soap? That's a good question. Probably the entire amount of Beardy's EOS holdings. Let's see. Argentina. Yeah, me too. Okay, so that's it. 23 minutes. I think we've gone long enough for the Q&A. So look, what I'm going to do now, before everybody leaves, let's figure this out. So I'm going to create this because Twitter Spaces is weird. You can't do it on desktop that I know of. Correct me if I'm wrong, but to create a Twitter Spaces, you have to do it on your phone for some stupid reason. And what I'm going to do, so you can, in Twitter Spaces, you can actually talk right to me, like not text, but talk. Like here, Q&A after today's video, which was, what was today's video title? Crypto set to explode, 1,000x gains. No, that's not. That was it. Son of a gun. So I'm going to start this now. See how this works out. And okay, cool. Cool. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to drop this into the chats. Everybody click on that. You can go to Twitter Spaces and talk to me. My mic is off. Hold on, everybody. I'm just bringing everybody over from YouTube. We'll start the Twitter Spaces in a second. Hold tight. Let's see. And then I also want to take over here. Let me go Twitter Spaces Q&A. Ooh, this ought to be fun. Okay, everybody, that's it. hope to chat with you live, and I'll see you in a bit. So thanks for stopping by. If you got to take off, take off. You've been here 25 minutes. That's it for this round. See everybody on Twitter. Thanks so much for stopping by. Adios.